Our next technique is our upper body for our body action. Most important, as I mentioned earlier, that it is really from here to here that is important that we see movement. So besides the lower half of our body, it is our upper part of our body that also must move. And it is our rib cage that creates this action. As you can see, I'm going to go slow. As I bend and straighten my knee and I allow my hips to move from side to side and settle, my rib cage will also work in opposition. We call this the upper part. As if I had a hand here and a hand here, you will see that as I settle from one direction to another, my hands will move and my ribs will move in opposite direction. Now in the beginning, when we're learning to use our rib cage, some of us may not have as much movement as we would like. An exercise to allow the rib cage to really get good fluidity is to do an exercise as such. Like for you to stand with your feet apart, you're going to hold your hands out directly to the side, and I'd like for you to try and reach to a wall and reach to the other wall. And as you do this, and you can do this facing the mirror to see, you want to make sure that you allow your shoulders to remain down. You don't want to make sure that you pick up, or you don't want to allow yourself to tilt. You want to feel that your rib cage is almost like on a table and slides from side to side. So when we use our rib cage, this is our action of what happens. You can also exercise it by placing your hands on your hips. This is also a nice way to use your rib cage. And note that you may notice that my belly button stays still. I'm not really shifting my weight in my hips. I'm just using my rib cage. And again, this is just an exercise to learn how to stretch these muscles to get them to work properly. So as I use my rib cage from side to side, you will notice that I do keep my shoulder down. I don't want to pick it up. And most important, that we don't feel that we drop aside. Okay? We want to feel that we really just move our ribs across. Now, in the upper body and how it works with the lower part of your body, is that when you work and you settle into a hip, your rib cage moves in opposite direction. And vice versa. As I settle to my left, my rib cage will move out towards my right. I'm going to turn around so that you can practice this with me. From side to side, as I settle into my hip to the right, you're going to allow your rib cage to move to the left. And you just can keep your hands on your hips here. And just get this feeling of working the opposition from your lower half of your body to your upper part of your body. Feel how that feels? Another important thing, if you can look at my back, that when I do use my upper body, you will see that I will use my shoulder blade and I will have a feeling of pulling down and pulling down, so that we have what we call nice back movement. It is important as ladies that when we dance our salsa, that there is some body action and back action. You should feel that your back muscles are always moving when you're dancing. Do be aware that we're not looking for shoulder rolls or anything as such. We're really just looking for the rib cage to do its movement. So again, as we settle from side to side, we allow the rib cage to move in the opposite direction. And you can even try this by placing one hand on your rib cage and one hand on the lower part of your body and allow them to work in opposite directions. You'll see your hands move as such. Last but not least about the upper body is it's very, very important that you always create space through here. We want to be careful that we don't allow our shoulders to get picked up. See how this looks? What happens is it closes you in through here, and of course we always want this to be elongated and a nice straight line through the shoulders. As my rib cage moves from side to side, I want to make sure that my shoulders stay level and parallel to the floor. So this is how our upper body works. Do be aware that when we dance, we want to be careful this doesn't happen. As I mentioned before, the shoulders must remain down, and of course, good rib cage action along with the lower half.